Disabilities Issues and Updates on BCTV is supported by the Berks County Center for Independent Living, Abilities in Motion.
Hello and welcome to Disabilities Issues and Updates. My name is Teresa Faulkner. I am your host today. I work as a consumer and community outreach coordinator at our Center for Independent Living, located at 210 North 5th Street, Reading, PA. Our number is 610-376-0010. For our home viewers who would like to call in, the number you would call is 610-378-0462. Today our guest is Jackie Nagel, who is our Children and Youth Coordinator at Abilities in Motion. Our topic today is transition services. Welcome, Jackie, and thank you for being our guest.
Thank you for having me, Teresa.
Very good. Jackie is affectionately known at Abilities at Motion as Miss Jackie. Can you please give us some background about the Children and Youth Services at Abilities in Motion and when they began?
Absolutely. For a number of years, our board of directors and our executive director, Ralph Trainer, has been invested in providing youth and young adults with services so that they can prepare for the future and beyond. As he often says, this generation's getting older and we need to prepare the future leaders of tomorrow, part of the disability community, to advocate for themselves, but also the disability community at large. So many years ago, they've invested in youth and young adult services, and in 2005, I took over the position of Children and Youth Services Coordinator, and I've been doing this ever since then.
I like the fact that you said that we're preparing our future leaders. That's a wonderful fact.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us how those programs began earlier?
Well, initially, before we had any structured services and programs like we do today, Abilities in Motion and myself and other staff began reaching out to school districts and other agencies and providing disability awareness programs for children and teaching them what it's like to have a disability, and they got to experience those processes, whether it's through simulation stations or if it was through a presentation with a PowerPoint, in a variety of ways. So they got to be familiar with what it's like to have a disability so that it bred acceptance and inclusiveness for not only children in general, but children with disabilities to all be included in their school districts and in their communities. And then we discovered later on, and I guess we've all really actually knew, that there's a lot of services lacking for children, and especially young adults who are preparing to transition from youth to adulthood. So we've developed some early programs, and later on we'll talk about some new innovations that we have at Abilities in Motion.
So it almost sounds as though we're empowering those with disabilities to prepare for what is to come in the future and so forth.
For youth with disabilities, this generation is the first generation that has not known a world that prior to the Americans with Disabilities Act. Wow. So they're used to having everything be accessible and open to them. However, as we all know, even though we've come a long way, we have a long way to go. So we hope to teach this generation what it's like to not only advocate for themselves, but also to advocate for a community that they're part of having a disability. And it's important to note that when we say disability, we're not only talking about mental disabilities or physical disabilities. As you know, Abilities in Motion serves all people with all different disabilities. Absolutely. So it's a very general term as far as we're concerned.
Very good, very good. I've heard about a program called Teens in Flight. Can you tell me a little bit about that program?
Teens Taking Flight.
Yes, Teens Taking Flight. Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's a social, recreational, and educational group for youth and young adults aged 14 to 25. And they come to Abilities in Motion once a week on Tuesday evenings from 5 to 7, and they learn independent living skills, social skills, pre-employment skills, basically anything that they need to learn in order to function in the community and life after high school. We are just the facilitators of that group. That group takes control of their own topics. They tell us what they'd like to learn, and from their input, we develop schedules. And every participant gets a schedule of our topics every month, and that includes presenters that may come in to talk about different services that are provided within the community and so forth. So the students or the young adults set their own schedule, and we go by that schedule. But it's not only work and learning skills, it's fun too. We were fortunate this month to partner with the Reading Royals, and we will be going to a game this month. We also partner with First Energy Stadium and do a whole bunch of other things. The youth that are part of this program raise their own money to be able to participate in those types of fun activities as well.
Is it just the Teens Taking Flight participants? Are they the only ones that are part of it, or?
No.
Okay.
They are who I call participants. However, we're lucky to collaborate with a lot of other groups.
Okay.
First and foremost, we have a group of mentors, youth mentors who are either adults with disabilities, or people who've worked with people with disabilities, to come into each group every week and act as a mentor to those youth and young adults who we consider our participants. In addition to that, we are fortunate at times to collaborate with local universities and acquire interns. We have currently an intern from Penn State Berks, one from Kutztown University, and a group from Alvernia University. So
Wonderful.
we have a lot of individuals who help make this happen.
You've given a lot of information about Teens Taking Flight. Can you tell me, if I were interested, or if persons are interested, what they would do to sign up?
They would have to call our office. Again, that number is 610-376-0010, and either ask for myself or my coworker, J.C. Bropes, and we would meet with them in order to do a brief intake to get to know the youth and young adult, and then tell them about our program. We also ask if they have any allergies, because a big part of their meetings, Teresa, is having that dinner together, that social interaction at the beginning of the meeting. And I'm sorry I didn't talk about the structure as I should have, but we get to meet the individual when they come in for an intake, and then we tell them a start date. And this helps us know when we can integrate that student, what our plans are. We definitely don't want to throw them into a group that they're not familiar with. It is important to note that Teens Taking Flight is a free program. We do not charge, but we do prefer to have an intake, and then if an individual has what's called an individualized education plan or an IEP, we also ask for copies of that, because whatever the students do, we like to modify to that individual's particular learning styles and needs.
Okay. Ms. Jackie, you brought up a good point when you were talking about the structure of the meeting. Did you want to just elaborate a little more on that, since we're talking about?
Absolutely. The whole point of not only learning skills and enhancing the abilities of the youth and young adults, it's also to provide that social interaction, to get to know other people that you may not necessarily go to school with, but you can build your social capital in a sense, get to know others. So for the first half hour of every meeting, participants come and they're welcome to enjoy a meal together, and they basically talk about anything under the sun, usually teenager kind of topics. And then about 5:30, then they all meet as a group to actually do what that topic is. And when I say they meet as a group, that can be taught in a variety of ways, in small group instruction, by hands-on opportunities, and whatnot. In addition to the regular topics, we also have once a month a game or a movie night.
Okay.
Where they get together and play board games in their Wii, the Wii U system, or they watch a movie together.
Okay.
So-
Do they actually pick the movies or?
Oftentimes they will pick the movies.
Okay.
They will bring them to me and say, Miss Jackie, is this okay? Is this okay? I generally tend to stay on the safe, no violence
I
side. So I have to approve every movie that is shown. But generally speaking, they bring them to me. I don't need to go looking.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. We've talked a lot about the teens taking flight, but in addition to that program, what other services at Abilities in Motion are provided for the youth?
Well, we have a variety of services. We generally, this department or these sets of programs focus on those from age 0 to 25. So I'm going to take them individually at one time, each at one particular time. We have the educational advocacy
Okay.
service that we provide,
Mm-hmm.
which means I act as a child advocate and an educational advocate. And let's say a parent is having an issue with the school district or an issue with the child's individualized educational program, IEP. Sorry,
gotcha.
I'm so used to IEP.
No problem.
They can call me and we will come into the district and kind of follow the laws that are set up both state and federally to make sure that the child's educational plan is appropriate to their needs and fits well within the guidelines of the laws. That being said, we have very good relationships with all school districts, and often we'll get calls from school districts to come in and mediate, kind of help a student as well. It is not an adversarial relationship.
Okay.
I often say I'm not there for the parent, I'm not there for the district, I'm there for the student. So
Wonderful, wonderful. I understand that Abilities in Motion received a grant from the Santander Bank. Can you tell or can you explain about that program?
absolutely, the Santander Bank was very generous in providing us a grant to teach the youth and young adults that are part of our Teens Taking Flight program banking and financial management skills. So we call that our FUNDS program, FUNDS, which really stands for the Financial Understanding of Needs to Determine Success.
Okay.
In the hopes that when a student leaves high school or moves on and becomes 18 and becomes in charge of their own finances, that they'll have some of the basic skills that they need in order to write a check, to manage a budget, and everything that goes along with it.
Wonderful. A part of that, preparing our leaders for the future.
Preparing
Sounds
our
good.
leaders, yes.
We are about to soon approach the month of April, and everyone is actually getting prepared for summer camps and preparing for summer events. Can you tell me, does Abilities in Motion offer any summer programs for youth?
We do. We have our new STARS program, and STARS, I'm an acronym person. STARS stands for Students Transitioning to Achieve Realistic Success. And that is for individuals who are 16 to 21 who have any type of disability. And during that program, they learn vocational skills, independent living skills, travel training, anything that we feel that they would need in order to enhance their skills to prepare for transitioning from youth to adulthood, and especially youth to the or from school to the workforce. That is a 6-week program. It begins on June 27th. We go Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And part of that program, the individuals not only learn the skills that I previously mentioned, but they're also going to have an opportunity to go out into the community and participate in different jobs. We were fortunate to partner with a lot of community agencies like the Doubletree in Reading, the Freedom Auto Group,
Okay.
the First Energy Stadium, Aussie Sports Fun Center, Mark Rossi's office, and those are just a few. There's a lot that we're partnering with, and then each individual will be able to go to those job sites and experience what it is like to work there, what the different jobs entail. So in order to participate in the STARS program, an individual would need to go through an intake process as well. And that involves calling our agency again and asking about the STARS program. There is no cost at all for this summer program. I need to note that there is no cost through the generosity of a United Way venture grant
Okay.
that we have.
Okay.
United Way was very generous in providing us with the funds that we need in order to provide the STARS program.
Okay. In talking about those that have come apart and joined in with the program, are there some job sites that will be available, or will they be doing different jobs, or?
They will get to go to the different sites that I previously mentioned, like
Okay.
the DoubleTree, and they will get to experience those sites. What we do is during an intake, we gauge what their interests and their abilities are, as well as what they would like to learn.
Okay.
And we try to partner individuals with certain businesses that we've contacted throughout the community. Like I've said, we've had a really good response in partnerships, and we're ever so grateful. But that doesn't mean we can't add more as the summer comes to a start.
So to our persons that are listening to our show today, if they're interested in this actually summer camp program, is there a deadline that they need to enroll for the camp?
It is not a program in which you call us up and say, my student wants to be involved in STARS.
Okay.
There is an enrollment process, and we will take as many individuals as we can in that process, but it is a selection process.
Okay.
So that means even if you go through the intake process, you may or may not be chosen this year because of our limited resources. So they would need to call us and go through the intake process.
Okay.
Should they have any questions, or anybody have any questions, they can always reach out to our agency and ask us.
And ask those
At
questions.
any time, absolutely.
Okay, okay. I have another question. How does the
Sure.
school district or their parents, how does the school district or the parents know that their students, what they've done once they've completed the program?
Okay. Well, part of this program is gauging where the student currently is when they enter the STARS program.
Okay.
And then collecting data, interests, and inventories through a variety of means to teach them certain skills, but also make a plan for the future.
Okay. Mhm.
And I know that sounds a little messed up.
It
but
does.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It sounded right. They actually go through a lot of assessments, and
Okay.
through the jobs that they complete and the activities that they do, especially the travel training piece, data will be collected. And then at the end of the program, staff at Abilities in Motion will provide the parents, the school districts, the entire IEP team, which includes the student, a report that they could use for future planning. So,
So they will be
yeah,
able to-
they will get a full detailed report of what we've done during this summer. In addition to that, we have student feedback that we'll enter in as well.
Are there any other aspects of this program that students and parents should know?
It is one of the very few free summer youth
Hold on,
programs.
Miss Jackie. I think we have a home viewer.
Oh, we do.
We have a home viewer. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi, Felix.
Yes, hi, good afternoon, guys. Good job.
Thank you.
I have two questions for you guys this afternoon. Who funds?
Felix, we're getting some feedback, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, who funds the transition services?
It depends on the program, Felix. For the STARS program, we were very fortunate to have the United Way Venture Grant. And for the summer youth program, well, the summer youth is the the venture grant. For the funds program, it is funded through the Santander Bank. All other services like Teens Taking Flight, like I said, raises their own money for that program to happen. So funding is set aside per program. Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're
I have
welcome.
another question.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now, I have another question.
Sure.
What is a IEP for those people that don't know?
An IEP is an individualized educational plan that when your student receives special education services within a district, a team meets that not only includes parents and students but also staff personnel to determine how the student best learns and what supports and services they will need in order to reach their academic goals throughout the school system. Okay?
Well, I think our home viewer is going. Miss Jackie, you have given us a lot of information today. We want to thank you. For anyone who is watching our show today, if you have further questions, you can always reach Jackie at 610-376-0010. Thank you so much for again
You're
being
welcome.
a part of our show. Wonderful show. We wait to hear from you concerning our Teens Taking Flight and our other programs. Thank you for watching.
Disabilities, Issues, and Updates on BCTV is supported by the Berks County Center for Independent Living.